Hey guys, this is Kane here from Love Let's Live 7 on YouTube. So what we're going to go through now is, as quick as I can, how to modify the leaked Windows 11 ISO to work to install on a physical PC, not a virtual machine. Now, I'll run through this as quickly as I can, no fluff, and hopefully you can follow along. So firstly, you will need to get a copy of the Windows 11 ISO, which I can't provide access to, but I'm sure you can find it. Once you have that, you're also going to need the Windows 10 ISO. So if we just go to Google, type in Windows 10 ISO, your first result should be the Microsoft website. Click into that. You want to download this Windows 10 installation media tool. So we want to download that tool now. Save it. We'll just put it in the downloads folder. Once that downloads, we want to open that up. Alright, and here we go. So this is the Windows 10 installer. Basically what we want to do is we need to tell it to download the ISO file, because we actually need some components from the Windows 10 installation to overwrite on the Windows 11 installation to make it actually work. So we're gonna just wait for this screen here, and once it decides to let us get past, alright, so we're going to accept this, and we're going to again wait. Alright, so what you want to do when it gives you the option is you want to select to download the ISO file, not to create a USB stick. So any moment now we should get that option. Okay, so we go create installation medium, and we say pretty much this is what you want to select, because this is what the Windows 11 installation is. So it is English in the United States and it's a 64-bit. So you must select those, and in addition is obviously going to be Windows 10. But if those are not showing as English United States and 64-bit, you're going to want to untick this box, and you're going to want to go through these lists, select the United States, select Windows 10 obviously, and select 64-bit. Once you've done that, hit next, and instead of going USB, we want to do an ISO file. Hit next, and it asks you where you want to save this file to. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to save this into my downloads folder, and I'm going to call it Windows 10, just so we can easily identify which ISO file this is. So that's going to start downloading. Depending on your internet connection, that can take a while. While that is downloading, or once it's done, we're also going to need a few tools to help us get this job finished. We are going to need Power ISO. So what we want to do is we want to open up this link here for poweriso.com. It is a paid program, however you can use the trial version is all we need. So we'll download this Power ISO. Again, I'm just going to save that into the download folder as well. We're also going to need a program to actually create a bootable USB stick, and for that I like to use Rufus. So if we just Google Rufus USB, it should be this first result here, rufus.ie. Click into this, and the easiest way to use this program is to download this portable version here. The portable version doesn't require any installation, you just run the file and it's all ready to go. So we'll just get past that ad. Alright, here we go. So Rufus, I'm also going to save that one into my downloads directory. Okay, so that's all the tools we need to actually do the job. So let's have a look here. We've got Power ISO, so let's go ahead and install Power ISO while we're waiting for that Windows 10 ISO to download. So we're going to just accept these defaults here. Alright, so we've got this. Again, I'm just going to accept the defaults. That's fine for me. Alright, so we've got Power ISO installed. Rufus does not need to be installed. Like I said earlier, it's a portable version, so it just runs directly from the downloaded file. Alright, I'm going to just pause this recording here while this finishes. Okay, so I have now finished the downloading of the Windows 10 ISO. I've also finished the download of the Windows 11 leaked ISO right here. So they are both located in my downloads directory. So let's go there now. Okay, so here we have our Windows 10 ISO, and here is our leaked Windows 11 ISO. So what we want to do from here is we need to create a bootable USB stick for the Windows 11 installation. To do that, I'm going to use this Rufus program that we downloaded earlier. So I'm going to open it up, and here we select the USB stick that I have plugged into my computer. We also need to select the Windows 11 ISO file, which is here. Alright, the rest of these settings default are okay. Now, you do need to be aware that when you start this process, it will erase all data that is on that USB stick. So if there's anything on there that you need, you'll need to take a backup of that before you start. Because once you do this process, all that data will be destroyed. Now I'm going to go ahead and cancel this because I have already created this USB stick. But you'll just hit OK, and this progress bar here will slowly fill up to 100%, which, depending on the speed of your hard drive and the speed of your USB device, could take anything from 10 minutes to about 30 or 40 minutes. So I'm going to cancel this because, like I said, I have already finished it. So basically this bar will be fully green when it's finished, and you'll just close that Rufus program. Alright, now what we need to do is we need to make some modifications to that USB stick that we've just created. Because if we go, this is the USB stick we've just created. If I try to open it and run this setup file, what will happen is it's going to start the installation, and it's going to complain that our PC is not compatible. This is a similar error to what you would get if you try to do a clean install. You get an error saying that your PC is not compatible with Windows 11. So we're going to see that. Here we go. So we've got this PC can't run Windows 11. So we see it doesn't work straight away. So what we're going to do is we're going to close this installation, and this is where the magic happens. So we're going to make some modifications, and then we're going to get past that error, and you'll be able to either run an in-place upgrade from your Windows 10, or you will even be able to create do a clean install straight from your USB stick and do a clean install onto a blank hard drive. Alright, so what we need to do is we're going to open up this sources folder on the USB stick. I'm going to put this over here. We're also going to need a second file explorer. Okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and open another file explorer. Now this one, what we need to do is we need to go to our downloaded Windows 10 ISO here. We want to right click on it. We want to use this Power ISO that we installed earlier, and we want to mount the image. So this will create a virtual CD drive of that Windows 10 installation. So if we go back to this PC, we should now see it here. Here it is. So this is the virtual drive we've just created. So ESD ISO, that is the Windows 10 installation. So what we want to do is right click on it, and we want to open it up. We want to go into the sources folder. And the first thing we want to do is we want to grab the following files. We want to grab all these ones that start with appcompat all the way through to app appraiser WC. We want to grab all those files, and we want to override the ones that exist on the Windows 11 USB stick. So I'm just going to drag them across. It's going to say copy to, and we let go, we go replace the files. So we replace all those files, and once that is complete, there's still more to do. Okay, now we also need to go down, and we need to get we need to replace the files, these ones here, compatctrl and compat resources. So again, we'll just drag those across. and replace. Alright, now we also need a few more. If we go down, we grab these, the hwcompat files here. Again, just drag those across and replace the existing files. And then we continue on and we grab, where are we? The setupcompat.dll. I want to take that one across and replace. Go forward a bit further, and you want to grab the Win11 drag that one across and replace. Continue scroll. Okay, so that's all the files that we need to replace. From here, you should be able to create a Windows 11 upgrade. So you should be able to use this now and upgrade your existing Windows 10 computer to Windows 11 by starting up your Windows 10 computer, then running this setup file from within Windows. So you'll run the setup file, and instead of getting an error that your PC is not compatible, it should go through. So it's gonna do the check for updates, and then it's gonna say checking your PC. And this time we should not get an error saying that your PC is not compatible. There you go. We're getting a few things ready. So there you go. That will successfully. You'll be able to continue through the installation and upgrade your Windows 10 to Windows 11. Now, I have not tried this in-place upgrade, although theoretically it should work. The one I have tested is a clean install onto a blank hard drive. However, that is not yet going to work. There are some more steps to perform. Alright, so we're going to quit that. We don't need that. Alright, now what we need to do is we need to make some modifications to another file. So if we open up the sources directory again, and we go down and we find this file here, boot.wim, and you'll also find it in the Windows 10 image as well. Alright, now instead of just replacing this file, we need to do a little bit more work, and this is where we need, again, to use that Power ISO program that we downloaded earlier. So we open up Power ISO, and we can continue once it lets us. Alright, so we don't need to purchase it. We continue with the trial version. Okay, so what we need is we're going to need 2 new folders on our hard drive to make this work. So we'll go to drive C, and we'll go new folder. And just to make this easy, it doesn't matter what you name them, but I'm going to make this easy. I'm going to call this one Win10, and I'm going to create another one. I'm going to call it Win11. That way I know which is which and what I'm working with. Okay, from there, we also need to open that up and create another folder, and we'll just call it Mounted. Again, these folders can be called anything you want, but I'm just calling them these names so we know what we're working with. So we have a folder called Mounted inside each of those. Alright, now the Win10 folder, we want to grab from the Windows 10 image this boot.wim file, and we want to put it under this Windows 10 folder that we've created. Now we want to go to the Windows 11 folder, and we want to get the boot Wim from the Windows 11 USB stick that we've created, and we'll paste that in there. Okay, so both folders have a boot.wim file corresponding with the Windows version that they've come from. Within Power ISO, we go to Tools and we open up the DISM tool. So it says we need to be an administrator, so we'll hit OK to do that. And it's gonna count down again. Alright, so this is where the fun part starts. Okay, so we want to go to the Mount and /Unmount tab. We want to hit Mount. We want to select the image file for one of those two WIM files. So it doesn't matter which one you do first, but I'm going to go Windows 10, boot WIM. And then you want to select the image index number 2, which will say Microsoft Windows Setup. Mount path, this is where you want to the folder that you want to work with to make changes to the files. So we'll go again to stick with the same one. So we're opening the Windows 10 boot WIM. So we go Windows 10 mounted. So mounted is going to become a folder full of files that we can modify, which will then automatically update this boot WIM file with our modifications. So Windows 10 boot and mounted to Windows 10 mounted. I'm also going to tick the check integrity. That just makes sure that the file doesn't get corrupted, and if it does, we'll at least know that it's been corrupted and we can start the process again. So we're going to hit the mount button, and it's going to mount that image. Then we need to repeat those steps to mount the Windows 11 boot WIM image. Okay, so mounting image operation successful. Okay, we want to mount again. This time we're going to go to Win11, boot WIM. Again, select number 2, Microsoft Windows Setup. Path, we want to mount it under Windows 11 mounted. And again, I'm going to check integrity and mount. Alright, so once we have these both mounted, we make some modifications in here. And then our clean install will work. Okay, so both of those have now been completed successfully. So if we open up, alright, so here we go, Windows 10 mounted. Let's get rid of these sources just so it's a bit clearer here. So I've got Windows 10 on this side, and then we're going to open up a Windows 11 on this side. Windows 11 mounted. Alright, so this is the Windows 11 mounted, and this is the Windows 10 mounted. Now you can see that these files, that these directories now populated even though we created it as an empty directory. That's because we are actually seeing the contents of this image file. So we're going to make some changes to these files. And it will update that image, and then we'll put that onto the USB stick and be ready to do a fresh, clean install. So we want to open the sources directory. Now, these files here, the app.compat and the appraiser, are the files that we need to replace. Unfortunately, if we try to delete them, we're going to get an error that we don't have permission to do so. So what we need to do is we need to take ownership of these files. So to do that, right click, Properties, Security, Advanced, Change Owner, type in Administrators. If you're an administrator, this should work fine. Then we hit Apply. OK, go to Administrators, hit Edit, Administrators, Full Control, OK, OK, and now you can delete the file. So that file's gone. So you have to do it on all these files, and there's quite a few more to do. So you can do that manually, or we can do it in Command Prompt a lot quicker. So if we open up Command Prompt, we right click here and we say Run as Administrator. Alright, so there's some commands here we can type to get this done a lot quicker. First thing is we need to navigate to those directories that we just created. In this case, we created them on drive C. So we can see here, we created it at C drive, Win11 /mounted /sources. So we can actually just copy that, go into here and type in CD, which is short for change directory, do a little speech mark, paste it in, and another speech mark. Okay, so that's taken us straight to that directory there. Now what we need to do is we need to type some commands to take ownership of these files. I will put these commands into the video description so you can copy and paste them, but I've got them written out here. Okay. So these are our commands, so I'm just going to do these one at a time. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking ownership of each of the files and then I'm deleting them because we don't need them. Alright, so now that all those files have been deleted, we can now move on to actually putting the correct files in their place. So I'm going to go back to that Windows 11 mounted sources. So we notice now that all those app combat files are missing and a bunch of others that we've deleted. So what we want to do is we want to grab from our Windows 10 boot Wim source, we want to grab these files here, copy them across. You can do that by holding down the control key on your keyboard, dragging it across and let go. It's going to ask for administrative permissions. Go do this for all current items and hit continue. It's going to copy those across. The other files that you need to copy across is the compatctrl.dll. Again, drag it across, hold down control, then release the mouse button. Continue. Then we need to grab these hwcompat files. Again, drag across, hold down control, release your mouse button. Then we need to grab the where are we? Setupcompat. Drag it across, copy, continue. Then we also need the Win setup. Drag it across, copy. Okay, so that's all the files that we needed to replace, so we can close both of those windows now. Okay, now our Windows 10 mounted Wim file we don't need, so we can unmount that. It's going to ask if we want to save the changes. No, we don't need to, just discard it. We only needed to take from that. We didn't need to save any changes. So we discard that. And once that is finished unmounting, we're going to go to this Windows 11 mounted boot Wim file. But this one we are going to choose to save the changes. Okay, so that's been unmounted. This one here, we want to say unmount. We want to say commit. Commit, save the changes when unmounting the image. We're also going to tick check integrity because again, I want to make sure that there's no corruption that's occurred. So we go unmount. So what it's doing now is it's saving those changes that we made and it's actually putting it all back into that boot Wim file. Now once this is finished, there's only one more step to go. Okay, so that is saved image, unmounted, operation completed successfully. So we can quit those, go back to our file browser, and another one over here. Okay, so we open our USB stick, which is our Windows 11 installation. This is our USB stick for our Windows 11 installation. We go to the sources directory. Now we go to our folder that we created earlier, the Win11, and we have that boot wim file. Now this boot wim file has now been updated with those changes that we made. So what we want to do is we want to drag this across and drop it into the sources folder on our USB stick. It asks if we want to override. We say replace the file. Once this is finished, you can eject the USB stick and remove it, or you can simply restart this computer and begin the installation process from before Windows starts up. The installation process will now work. It won't give you an error saying that the PC can't run Windows 11, but do note that it will format your hard drive, so any data on there will be lost. So make sure you're doing this either on a new blank hard drive or a hard drive that doesn't have anything on it important. It's also worth mentioning that I will be making a follow-up video showing the full installation process from this USB. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope this has helped you.